Can you please stop dropping frames? Thank you. Gonna go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1, go. And I'll talk about the category in a little bit. There are a lot of things that come kind of back to back to back right at the start of the run. The first thing I do as soon as I get my shield is I'm going to use screen warping to head down to the beach to pick up my sword, and I'll unlock the warp zone over by Dungeon 8. It's like right here, like 30 seconds into the run. Let's see if I can get the first one or if I'm going to end up in a tree. No, we're good. We're good. Nice. Okay. I'm going to screen warp again from the sword. The screen with the sword, and I'm going to try and screen warp to the left and keep the sword on the screen. You can see it's not always cooperative. There we go. Screen warping isn't a frame perfect trick. It's really easy to do. It's really easy just to accidentally stumble into it, to be honest. All you have to do is when you're moving from one room to another, you open the... See, right there was a little bit off. You open the map screen just as you move from one room to the other, and I'll deal with the warp issue in a little bit then. As I said, the trick itself isn't frame perfect, but when you want to phase through the ocean and warp to the top side of the map, your timing matters just a little bit. The next trick we're going to be doing is taking a trip through the kennel world, or the doghouse world, doghouse glitch, whatever name you want to give to it. Gotta get back on the correct side. There we go. The playing field here. That is what this is. Now, you saw when I went to go get the money there in the chest that I took the time to kill all 3 slimes in the room. That has something to do with this glitch. This staircase in particular only works if you kill 3 enemies before you go into the doghouse world. Otherwise, you might be able to walk to that staircase, but it's not going to take you anywhere. You'll just get stuck against it like it's a solid wall. Because the kennel world works a little bit differently based on how many monsters you killed before you go in. So for the rest of the game, whenever we take a trip through there, we're going to kill 6 enemies. But for the first trip, I want 3, which lets me get... Ooh, hello. Lets me get to that back room of Dungeon 1, where Rock's Feather is. And also lets me get to that side room in Dungeon 2, where the level 1 bracelet is. Trying to buy this shovel with my 5-finger discount. There we go. I'm making a lot of use out of the shovel too. We're going to be picking up quite a few rupees, but we're not going to be picking up 1,100 rupees. O2. Oh my gosh, get around the corner. Now we're gonna use the sword here to do another super jump to get out of bounds here. Part of what made Link's Awakening such a popular game is how big and how much exploration you can do, especially in a Game Boy game. There are so many little caves and hidden things to go off and explore. But the way that the world map is programmed in memory, in reality, it's actually much different than the way that it plays out in a casual playthrough. So if you're able to go out of bounds, you can really skip around and get to 2 different places very, very quickly. More than you might imagine. Oh, I gotta get this screen warp. There we go. 2, 3. And I'm Oops. Yeah, there's a tree there. I'm prepping another trip into the kennel world, which is why I'm coming to kill these enemies. The reason why they have Grandma's sprite is I screen warped into the room and skipped the load trigger for the correct sprite sheet. There we go. And before we move on, I'm gonna grab a little bit of time fishing. There we go. Come here. There we go. Gotcha. The fish that I want is this big fat one that's underneath of Link right now. And this is the first fishing minigame in the Legend of Zelda series. You can see it's very, very simple. Not nearly as complicated as in the 3D games, for sure. Oh, and I missed my saving quit menu. That's okay. If you save and quit out of that text box, you can actually go walk right into this room right here. I can dig up another seashell. There we go. That's a fat-fingered one of these. There we go. You can also screen warp in the kennel world. I've had the game freeze on me, screen warping vertically multiple times, so I don't go for it because I can't figure out why. Can't figure out a rhyme or reason to it, but screen warping horizontally is not giving me any troubles, other than sometimes you can create a whole lot of sprite lag. As I was saying earlier, see, screen warping's not a frame perfect trick. I was able to get a screen warp, but you can see Link moves a little bit before the map moves sometimes. If he moves a little bit, certain things like getting on that outside edge might not be possible, because he'll just won't be in the correct position to stay up there. And I need a sword. Two. Three. Four. This is the last time we're going to see this room for a little while, at least. So after this, I'll be able to make my way up to Dungeon 8. And I don't have the warp zone for it, because I missed that screen warp earlier. So we're gonna have to find a different way up there. Rather than just walking to the... Where am I going? Where in the world am I going? I went down one too many rooms. Alright, so we're gonna see this room one more time. I got stuck in a tree. I thought it was over here for some reason when I tried to screen warp to the left. There we go. Make one last trip to here to go get the flippers, as well as the magic powder. Then we can start making our way to Dungeon 8. Yo! And again, this screen warp doesn't have to necessarily be too clean. I'm gonna get sprite light here. There we go. This one though, you do have to get very good timing because you're trying to get through the wall. There we go. To get to Dungeon 8, I'm actually just gonna go ahead and come down here and try to screen warp through the beach again. There we go. That's what I wanted to do earlier in the run. I'm gonna fall down a hole, air quote. That's gonna warp me over here, now I gotta walk back. That got me to Dungeon 8. If I had gotten that screen warp correctly the first time, I could have just walked into the warp zone by town and would have put me right up here. Yo. Oh, whoop. This way. Okay, so we're not going to spend too long in Dungeon 8. Screen warp to come over here and grab the fire rod without too much fuss. I head back out and we're going to do pretty much the same thing we just did all over again. So I'm not going to go all the way back to town. I'm going to screen warp right here. Get the timing right. It's going to put me on a little block of land that is purely cosmetic. There's actually no legal inbounds way to get here. But it gives me enough room to walk around and set up another screen warp. Hello. There we go. Up to Dungeon 8. Why is the fire rod? There we go. Now for the first fight against Hothead, what's great about this is he deals 4 hearts of damage, and obviously I only have 3. Shoot up, there we go. There we go. And in between dungeons here, I'm gonna switch ingest servers or something. I think, because it's dropping a ton of... No, now it's cooperating. You please behave. I lowered the bitrate and then you just drop more frame. That's like the opposite of how that's supposed to work. Ah, you stupid crow. Okay. 1, 2. I know this looks like a really unnecessary number of jumps to get up here, but it's really the only way to kind of clear that gap with the proper distance. That is not bombs. There we go. We just went from Dungeon 8 to this little corner of Dungeon 1. And again, these rooms aren't being put together the way they normally would be. This is just how they're stored in memory. I'm able to pick up a couple of seashells there before we move on. We have quite a lot of collecting to do before we head to Dungeon 7. The door. Thank you. Oh, grab the chest. This is, Mad Batter, if you will. He is not very happy that, we woke him up from his sleep. Now we are doomed to be cursed forever! Oh noes! It's so terrible. He's gonna let us carry around twice as many items as we could before. Ammunition, probably the better word there, for our bombs and our arrows, our magic powder. And there are 3 different shrines for this guy that we can go and grab upgrades from. The first shrine we just went, as you can see, is up by Dungeon 8, which is very far north in the map. This one, I believe, is in the Lost Woods, which is kind of in the northwestern part of the map. This last shrine, though, is way far south down by the beach, and I think we're actually going to walk pretty close to where this exit is. So they're very spread out on the map, but they're actually all just right in a little row like this. And also, we're going to be back in this room later, because 2 rooms north of this room is a entrance into Dungeon 6 that we're going to take advantage of later. Right now, we got to head back up. Whoops. I keep forgetting that doesn't work. Back up here and keep making our way towards Dungeon 7. You'll notice, as I'm doing these screen warps, I'm taking the time to jump and change which tile I'm standing on. Screen warping does not reset the timer for when those cracks break. It can be very easy to get stuck in a loop where the tile breaks under you, so it respawns you to your last valid location, which is on top of a cracked tile that's already open. You're just stuck in this endless loop until you run out of health. Which is hilarious, but not very productive. I usually dip in that cave. I'm going to step up here so everybody can take a peek at one of our cameos in the game. I could have screen warped that room. That is famous green plumber Luigi. And in this game, he is a caretaker of chickens and roosters and all sorts of feathered wildlife. You play video game casually, you'll also run into Yoshi and Bow Wow. The princess makes an appearance, though I can't remember what her name is in this one. Can't remember if she's Toadstool or Peach, and she's actually going under an alias anyway, of Catherine, I think. We'll run into Kirby's long-lost evil brother here in just a little bit as well. Paragoombas will probably be a talking point at some point. Oh, nope, I had to head to the forest. There we go. Come here. The reason why I'm opening the save and quit box on almost every chest is that it skips a dialogue box. There's also that neat little glitch that there's absolutely nothing, but still a thing. 2 trips here. I thought I switched the wrong items out. There we go. So even though that cutscene takes a little while and it's completely optional, I choose to do it because it's going to let me come and learn Marin's song right now, rather than having to wait to the end of the game. And if I go with the other route, I have to take the longest possible version of that side quest to get this song. It's a very long and roundabout way. Instead I can just come talk to this Moblin, who's actually Marin. Again, we hopped over the load trigger for the sprites. Game was definitely inspired by Oracle of Seasons. And there's another text box. Bam! That one right there. That last text box. That'll get you. Because you can save and quit between the second and third box there. Except you won't learn the song if you do that. But only sometimes. I haven't really figured out what the issue with that is. I'm going to assume that on one of the frames it updates your ocarina. Sometimes you can save and quit before that frame, so you just want to wait for the last text box and make sure you actually get what you came for. And then we can make our way to Dungeon 7. Slit. Go. Now, fun fact I'm not going to get to show off, but when you've got Bow Wow with you, he sometimes eats enemies. Sometimes he will eat the pedestal that you're supposed to put the key in. and will, not quite, but kind of soft lock your cutscene. Like, you can still move around and reset the screen, but the cutscene completely stops, and the dungeon doesn't open. You also see there was, Goomba, and kind of weird looking version of a Kirby, called an anti-Kirby. If you stick around, they actually do try to eat you up, just like Kirby would. Eat you up, spit you out. He does a fair amount of damage, I think, but they usually drop fairies, so it's a good way to pick up some health, because they're not too tough to fight. Grab that. There's a shield, even though we're done with everything the mission needs to do. That right there, that's wrecking ball, cannonball, whatever you want to call it. That is the icon of Dungeon 7 right there, man. Let me tell you. What you're supposed to do is carry that ball around all over the dungeon and knock down these 4 support pillars that are holding up the roof. And when you knock down the 4 support pillars, the thing I'm standing on now collapses down, and you can get up to the top of the dungeon and come fight the boss. But if you can go out of bounds, you can skip all of that and just get right to the doorway to the boss anyway. Even if you're playing in an inbounds only category, you don't have to do Dungeon 7. There are other ways to skip having to drag that thing around. Because it's a puzzle on itself, getting both you and that cannonball in the same place at the same time sometimes. It's a good dungeon. Like, it's a long, frustrating, not water dungeon. I didn't get the quick entrance into the door. That's okay. There's no way I'm like... I'm gonna check, seashells here. I am missing a seashell. Which seashell did I miss? Because I just got the one in Dungeon 7. That's why I'm a little bit ahead of my splits. I missed a seashell somewhere, which is okay. We're gonna make it up later on. I didn't get to talk about the rules, so this is a good time to do it. But 100% in this game means we're gonna grab 20 out of 26 secret seashells. Which definitely adds up to 100, because when you turn into 20 seashells and get your level 2 sword, the last 6 seashells will just disappear completely off of the map. So there will be no more 6 secret seashells for you to pick up, which is a great sentence to try and say. Grew up with a lisp. Now I gotta check my piece of heart count too. That is 7. So that's good. I haven't missed any pieces of heart, but I did miss a seashell somewhere. We're gonna have to make up. Oi. There we go. Doing screen warps in the water can be a bit of a challenge because all your movement speeds are different. You have different acceleration, your speed is different. Oh wow, there's a free one. Your input lag, for lack of a better term, is a little bit different. And you do it so rarely that it's hard to get a good feel for it. And as I said earlier, going to be back in one of these shrines here, just visiting on our way up to Dungeon 6. Oop. Let's pick up the chest. Grab this chest. Head back in. Save and quit from here, and that's going to put us right at the start of Dungeon 6 here. Now, I don't think we actually need the level 2 part of these level 2 bracelets at any point, but it is 100%, so I do need to grab the upgraded bracelet. Hug the top wall. Over here. That looked good. That should let me right on through. Nice. 1, 2. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nice. Okay. So we got all 3 hits in on the face here. I completely forgot the count. There we go. You can get 3 hits on him before the fight even really starts. And he only takes 5 bombs, so it cuts out half of the fight. Cool, that was a... I know you guys can't see my splits. That was a gold spool in Dungeon 6, and I'm gonna give all that time away going to pick up this seashell. Trying to figure out this is not the fastest time for me to go get it, so I'll just have to keep it in mind for later. There we go. Alright, hit this pair of Paragoombas, can really ruin your day. As you might be able to tell, those bombs hit you when you're underwater. Oops. And the bombs have a ton of knockback on them. On land, it's fine because you can just move back into position pretty easily. In the water, even if you're underwater, the bombs will hit you and send you flying the wrong way. And just because of the way that the water physics works, it takes forever to get yourself going in the right direction again. I don't know. Put that away. Don't spawn there. Ah. Of course you would. Ah. Now you can see on that screen warp, the statue disappears, or at least it moves. So you could get under there without having to get the mermaid scale and do that whole side quest. There are 2 problems, though. If you go under there, the Lens of Truth won't be there. It'll just be whatever the next part of the trading quest is. So you can't get what you want out of there, and then you're also self-locked inside the cave. And what I did right there, I was too busy talking about the statue, something called the bomb trigger glitch. And for this category, this is the only time I do it, but you use that glitch a lot more often in every other category. Because it's not a spell to speedrun if there's not some kind of funny business with bombs, obviously. What you need to do is drop 2 bombs in a 4-frame window, and that screen is pretty convenient in that that far left row or column of tiles, rather, counts as bottomless pits in game coding. So you can just sit right next to them and mash your bomb button until something really good happens. And what the bomb trigger glitch does is it makes the game play whatever special event or occasion or cutscene is supposed to happen on the screen. So the bomb completely replaces the ocarina, because you can open up Dungeon 8 using bombs. You can open up the Windfish Egg using bombs. You can just skip the whole scene with the Fat Walrus. You don't need that. You can just use bombs to get by him. And the entire puzzle mechanic for Dungeon 7, you can skip using bomb triggers. Wow, that was a beautiful jump. Expert timing on the A button. There we go. Oh. So it only took me 6 months to realize I don't have to kill everything in this room. Kind of just became a habit. But the real trick I'm doing here involves the small key. Screen warp to the left. Screen warp to the left. There we go. Look, the small key magically turns into a hook shot. And for my next trick, I'm going to solve this puzzle again. It's so much fun the first time, and I'm going to get my small key again. What's actually happening here is each room, for each room, the game only keeps track of one, air quote, hidden item in the room. So when you solve a puzzle or whatever the case may be, the game isn't coded to, say, drop a small key in that right room. It's coded to drop the hidden item in that room. So what you're seeing on screen looks like a small key, but in game coding, it's hidden item. So when you screen warp to the left, there's still a hidden item on the screen, but the hidden item in the room on the left is the hook shot. So when you pick it up, instead of it being a small key, it's the hook shot. That didn't look good, didn't sound good. Let me try that again. You guys are just gonna... How about that? Oh, wait, I gotta get rid of you two now. Goodbye. I was trying to be nice and leave him alone. There we go. Now, right there, you can see when I open the menu, get a little bit of sprite lag, or a little bit of lag of some sort. It's one of the few occasions where you want a little bit of lag. What I'm actually doing with the fire rod is I'm shooting a fireball at the same time I'm opening the menu, and the Game Boy gets... Yikes. Oh, wait just a second. Well, Game Boy gets a little bit confused. And we'll just continue to draw fireballs on the screen until it runs out of memory to do anything else. Oops, I didn't pick up the key. I didn't pick up the key. I walked right by the key. Let me do that again, because I missed the screen warp. So if you do that we'll get to see it again right here, unfortunately. You do that for mini boss rooms, fine. Don't even need screen warp. Boom. 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 There's so many sprites on the screen that the game can't load in the mini boss because there's just no more room for sprites in memory. Look at this mess. Nah, it's not gonna give it to me. Give me. There we go. Even though we grabbed the hook shot, the mini boss is still there waiting for us. I can't believe I forgot to grab the nightmare key. That's how that's supposed to look anyway. This is definitely the most RNG heavy boss this game. Because at best you can cover 2 spots at once. Oh, you punk! He also has 8 health, and that's 8 swings. No matter if you have the level 2 sword and a piece of power, and a Game Shark that sets it up so you deal more damage than that, it's gonna take 8 swings. There's no way around that. So you do not want to miss a swing when you do get a grab in. That fight can get very ugly very quickly. Because as time goes on, he'll start throwing fake ones at you, so you'll get a grab, and a little mini Moldorm thing will come out and explode in your face, and you can't deal any damage. Then he'll just troll you with his spawn. If you don't get him very quick, it's either a very short fight, or it's an abysmally long fight, and there's absolutely no in between. Oh. Yeah, I do gotta get that seashell. But we're not gonna get that until we head to Dungeon 3. Yo! Back out. To the down. Run to the down. That's what I was looking for there. And south, I'm gonna screen warp on top of this cave. That's the one that's offset. Oh, this, I'm gonna move this ocarina out the way. Just any part of this ocarina right now. I was nowhere near the screen edge. There we go. Now we're underneath the mermaid statue, and you can see, it's no Lens of Truth. It's actually the mermaid scale still. That room is coded very, very differently, than you might expect. There's our Lens of Truth. Finishing... Not quite finishing. We got the Lens of Truth. It's gonna let us trade for the boomerang here in a couple of minutes. There we go. Oh, wait, one more. What am I doing? There was a mini-boss under the sand, but his hitbox is there all the time. So you can use the magic rod or bomb arrows and take him out very quickly. That is 8. Good, so we're still on track for heart piece. This is another seashell that's easy to forget. I still don't know which seashell I missed earlier, but I'm going to bet that for one of them, I just hit the save and quit too early, and wow. Just save and quit before the game added it to my inventory. This seashell's easy to forget, because the way I used to have this routed, actually had me wrong warp right next to it, which is very convenient. But we don't do that anymore, so you gotta remember to go and get it. It's kind of the lost abandoned child over there. You have to make a special trap just for it. Green warp. And hook shot. Because we're done with the hook shot. And now we have the boomerang. Now we can make our way to Dungeon 4. Which means once again, we're going to be counting to 6. 1. And making our way to the counter world. Get there. I have the Dungeon 4 key, but watching that cutscene to unlock Dungeon 4 takes a long time. It's a long way to walk around to get up there anyway. But now I have the fire rod, so I don't have to go to the cave. I can just, I got everything here in town. Oh. It's 3. The thing you gotta think about with the fire rod is it doesn't count as a kill until the sprite disappears. So it's very easy to miscount if you're not patient. Left. See, you can't really see the blocks there, but there are solid blocks in that room. All that's putting us in Dungeon 4. Ah! Too far to the right. Bonk the wall. There we go. And now we're done in Dungeon 4. Now we've already got the flippers. Got the Beads of Heart. Beat the boss. Don't really see too much of Dungeon 4. I forgot to have the sword on. That's okay. You can make Link do a little dance here if you have your sword sticking out. And it saves you 2 whole tiles of movement. So, on our way to Dungeon 3, we have a lot more collecting to do, including that extra seashell I gotta pick up for missing one earlier. Let's start by grabbing the potion here. Gotta make sure, yeah, 28. I don't know what influences the price of this potion. Sometimes it's 28, sometimes it's 42. It can go a lot higher, but The important thing is that I have at least 300 rupees for this next section. So if that potion was very expensive, or I missed a chest or something, shoot. My rupee count was a little off. I would want to wait and get that potion later. I almost forgot about, this stuff. I tried to screen work that. Fine. Be that way. It's a shovel there. Here's a seashell. Grab this. You're supposed to use the bomb and a hook shot here, but that jump's very easy to do. Watch out for the bat on the way back. I think I'm stuck. Nope, we're good. And that one keeps getting me. It always looks like I'm stuck when I do that screen work. Oh, there's a chance I'm about to hit. Aha! Screen warp up here. I've got bomb arrows, but I'd rather not have the menu. There we go. If you go south one room from there, you actually end up in that room with the fisher, where the fisherman, where I got the mermaid's necklace. The necklace. Now I want to start looping our way over the dungeon. The reason I have to reset this room is screen warping moves around items, even those that are hidden underground. That's for my favorite jump in the whole game. Aha! First try! So that's a perfectly normal 2-gap jump that I usually miss once or twice in every run. Just bad at that one particular jump. There we go. Use this to back out of bounds. Two screens. Because last one I went east a little too early and soft locked. Don't want that. This is where I'm gonna go and get my extra seashell. I'm gonna screen warp here. Go right, go down, and make sure you do not take that staircase, or you get a lot of extra walking around to do. That puts me at 17. And that is why, the first time I walked in the cave, before I even started going out of bounds, that's why I save and quit there, just in case, if you don't stick to the very strict, plan here, you're usually going to end up stuck in a wall or something. See, just like that. Too far south. There are lots of ways to soft lock, in this particular out of bounds. Come on, dude, get over there. Some of them are kind of useful, depending on what you're trying to do. And it's useful just to go exploring, but right now I want to go this way. You're gonna see I'm gonna take the second tile here. I don't want to talk over this song, so I'll explain what's going on here in just a moment. There's Wart from Mario 2, by the way, though. See, isn't that just the best song in the whole game? Why would I want to talk over those dulcet tones? But you can see in the top left corner of that room is a cracked tile. And unless you take the staircase, any other out-of-bounds way into that room soft-locks the game, unless you come in from the top side of the screen. So you have to come from the top side of the screen, but you have to be careful of the cracked tile. Because while they're singing, that cracked tile isn't inactive. So if you're standing up there, you'll just fall through until you run out of hearts, and then you lose the game. You game over. You lose your 300 hearts, and you pretty much lose your speed run because making up 300 extra rupees is almost impossible. That is at best a massive time loss. Because there are no other big chests to go pick up. There's a fire rod here, because that chest appears when everything is dead. And there's nothing on the screen, so I guess everything's dead. But I make a note of that, simply because in Dungeon 2, there's a room where you have to kill enemies in a certain order. So the fire rod doesn't work for that room, because it kills everything at the same time. So there we go. Lined up. I'm only gonna need 2 keys for this dungeon. That's the second one. This last key block, I'm gonna jump into it and just hold diagonally towards that staircase. And that text box gives me wowzers. That text box gives me just enough freedom of movement to get through. Missed a jump, but I get that room okay. Now, you're not meant to have Magic Rod here, and this boss is very weak to it, but you still need to use a sword dash to split them apart. Otherwise, they get on very quickly. And I used the Magic Rod glitch there because the wise old owl is out there waiting to talk to me. And we don't have time for that. So ideally, in this category, you don't actually talk to the owl at all, which is just every Zelda speedrunner, I'm sure, not having to deal with him. I'm gonna make no mention of the fact that I am somehow now ahead of my seashell count. I'm going to assume that my cheat sheet is wrong, or I don't read good. Because now I'm skipping a seashell, so go figure. But I know the cheat sheet's not wrong, because I always have 9 shells coming out of Dungeon 7. So I have no idea what happened with the seashells. I've got 20. I didn't duplicate any of them. That is really weird. I'm gonna go... Oh, I forgot. The owl's still there. Get rid of the owl. I got excited about leaving. I'm gonna go check out the VOD. Oh! Oh, you're being quite finicky today. Ah, there you go. Jerk. He really did not want to despawn. I'm over here trying to pick up that seashell. Great. And this is the last time we're gonna see this room, I hope. Last time I'm supposed to see this room. How about that? 4, 5, 6. One last trip through the Kennel World. A little early. December hit up to Dungeon 2, and if you've played this game before, you'll realize I'm already in Dungeon 2. And you are absolutely right about that. But I can't actually do anything I'm trying to do here until I get back in bounds. So I'm going to head to the east until I see a staircase. You can see right there one of the oddities of the Kennel World there. I'll just eat the damage because you're just not going to get out of the way. And that's the room right there. You have to kill the enemies in that particular order. That's the room everybody's always stuck in when I go and watch people playing for the first time casually. That room just completely flummoxes people sometimes. And I'm clearing everything out for a reason. I missed a bat. Anyway. Trying to very quickly. This is gonna look so good if it works. It's gonna look so bad if it doesn't. Come on. Ah ha ha! See? I was trying to clear the room with the fire rod and screen warp into the right side of the room at the same time. It looks so cool when it goes well. That's okay. And now we're fighting the Mad Genie, and we have like a bajillion hit points, so this won't be a hard fight at all. I honestly think he's a little overpowered for a level 2 boss, playing casually though. Dungeon 2 is rough. If you get through Dungeon 2, you're good for the rest of the game, for sure. But you can cut out a lot of his, you can cut out about half of his phases by throwing his bottle kind of out of bounds there. I'm gonna drop a bomb and use the magic rod to try to knock him into the bomb. I shot a little bit early there. You can also use bomb arrows to do the same trick. You want to knock him into the bomb. And if you're really good, you do it in a way where the last hit, the recoil from the last hit puts him right by the door, and you just pick up your heart and you walk through the door. I have yet to get that recoil. Ooh, it's arena. I got a potion. And just move on. Yo, give me this. I tell you, that ocarina is the worst thing ever when it comes to menuing. I didn't move far enough to the right. But this is going to be a funny little series of screen warps here. There we go. I made that slightly more difficult than it needed to be. There we go. I almost made that one more difficult than it needed to be too, but... I'm going to stop at home. In case I missed this screen warp, and I did. Now we can save and quit and just try again. I'm headed to Dungeon 1. We're finally back at the start of the game. Yeah, the keyholes in this game work funny too. Everything in this game works a little bit. We're not going to be in Dungeon 1 for very long. Ow. Right lag. Save and quit, save and quit, save and quit. There we go. For whatever reason, you can find other ways to screen warp into the boss room here. But it's kind of like the room with Wart in it. If you don't do it a specific way, the game will just hard lock on you. So it's a lot easier and not all that much slower just to get the nightmare key. I did not realize you could unequip the fire rod while doing that glitch. And you're not meant to add the level 2 sword. He literally can't even spin slash. One shot kill. The knockdown is still a thing though. He can still knock you down. And I believe it's the original version, the version I'm playing on. If you mash the jump button when he knocks you down, you will wrong warp and soft lock. Which is fun. You'll also invalidate a no wrong warp category speed when you do that. So don't do that. What actually happens is if you're mashing the jump button, next screen you spawn at the top of the screen because you're meant to be falling down the pit. And you jump on the one frame before the game realizes you're not on solid ground. And you just jump through a loading trigger with no set coordinates. So it sends you wherever. Stop. Just stop misbehaving. Like, give me, like, literally 4 minutes left in the run, if that. Just behave for 5 more minutes. Please. Hey, green, look at that, green. I had not seen green a whole lot today. There we go. I grabbed the last piece of heart. We're gonna be seeing the room again, so you didn't miss too much. Right there. That's the room that the last piece of heart is in. That's the bottom of the well. Air quotes, bottom of the well. And I'm gonna screen warp through a couple of rooms. I don't know if maybe this is the line that got cut out on, but that poor woman's house is the last cave that we're going to be in. Because from there we can screen warp. And just by happenstance, she's on the same map and in a great location to get to the last couple of items that we need to get. And now we can head towards the windfish egg, but we're not going to head to the windfish egg either because she's actually right next to the last boss fight. But also, show off what I want to show off. That's okay. That probably, judging by how everything else on the run is gone, that probably wasn't going to turn out well for me anyway. But she's actually on the same literal map as this room. She's 2 screens down and 1 screen right from where I am right now. So if you screen warp really, really well, you can do this last boss fight in her living room, which is hilarious. But also takes quite a bit of setup. There are a couple of quick kills here in this last boss rush. The first of which I completely whiffed, because of course I did. But you can actually get him kind of... Oh, give me a break. Kind of stun-locked on the end of your sword. And you literally just sit there and you just wiggle around with the sword stuck in his belly until he dies. It's funny, I don't understand why it works that way. But it's not just a quick kill. If you like let go of the button or you drop it halfway through, it actually deals damage. So I think for whatever reason it was an intended way to damage the boss, but it's very hard to set up, other than on the initial jump. Aghanim form here works just like he does in every other game you see this little back and forth in. Yep. Can't reflect that one. After the first 2 hits, it's 50-50 whether he gives me something I can actually hit him with. Oh. Here's the second quick kill if I can get it. Oh! You know what happened in practice? I'm not even joking. What happened in practice? I got no blue balls. I hit both quick kills twice. It was great. I had 2 perfect boss fights in practice. So naturally the run's gonna go the other way. And everything goes down really quickly with the level 2 sword. The level 2 sword is very, very powerful. Now we're on Deathel. We're on the last little boss fight of the game here. This is mostly just a waiting game. I'm waiting for him to open his eyeball so I can hit him in the face. It takes 16 arrows, or 1 shot from the boomerang. Or if you're a masochist, I don't know how else to explain it, you can use bombs. But the bombs have to explode while the eye is open. And the eye opens, it's RNG when the eye opens. So you have to time your fuses based on RNG. It's not a good way to do things. That is time, by the way. Screen fades to white. I had 101.18 on my side. I don't know what's on the screen. Which is not bad considering I lost a seashell I didn't lose and had to pick up a seashell I didn't need to pick up. I have no idea what happened with the seashells, because the count was definitely wrong until it was absolutely right. So whatever. Other than that, it was not too bad of a run. And I don't have stream pulled up, so I don't know if we're on a break screen, but I am going to go ahead and disconnect here before I drop another bucket of frames. But thank you very much for inviting me. I'll be sticking around a little bit to do a little bit of hosting as well. So, I hope you're not sick of my 3 a.m. I need a cup of tea voice.